Hi, good afternoon. And my name is Nazima Ragabir. I am reporting today for Prime News and conducting this interview with Elizabeth Riley. Now, Elizabeth Riley she's the executive director of the Caribbean Disaster Emergency Management Agency, CDEMA, and there's been a lot of focus recently on what has been happening in the region, particularly in Jamaica. Hurricane Melissa, Elizabeth, we have seen the destruction. I know several islands have been touched and hit. And I've been reading the situation report from Sedama. The last one I saw was on November 13 or 14. And there were some glaring figures there, including 30,000 households displaced, 182 communities impacted, 11 100 people displaced. You have been integral, your agency has been integral in assessing that situation and getting teams into Jamaica to assess what is going on there. What can you tell us right now about what is happening?
Well, thank you, first of all, for the opportunity. And I want to start by, of course, expressing CDEMA's continued solidarity with the government and people of Jamaica at this time. Well, we are just over 3 weeks into the response from Melissa right now, and I returned from Jamaica just last week, Thursday. So the arrangements in country with respect to the response are settling quite a bit. It is not unusual in the immediate aftermath of events that we have a settling period where we really try to assess exactly what has happened, how many persons have been affected, what those priority needs are. So in terms of the key priorities in settling are related to much better streamlining of the relief distribution system. And this has been led upfront by the government of Jamaica through the Office of Disaster Preparedness and Emergency Management. So priorities still continue to be getting water, food, shelter to persons who have been displaced as well. In addition, we have a number of international humanitarian actors on the ground. At last count, it was 118. And so we've been working, supporting the Office of Disaster Preparedness and Emergency Management and really strengthening that coordination with the international actors, ensuring that there's a full plug into the national level leadership by the government of Jamaica and just making that process a lot more efficient. So that's what we've been focused on in recent days.
Thank you so much. And you've been on the ground. What have you been hearing from our fellow Jamaicans? What are they saying about not only the experience? I mean, that's one thing by itself, but moving on from that.
Well, it is a difficult time. I think we have to recognize that it's really been a shock to the population. And some of the personal accounts that I have heard about the experience of going through the system really point to the need for very strong mental health and psychosocial support to the population as an ongoing arrangement. I think that will be needed for a period of time. Of course, persons are, I think, very grateful that their lives have been saved. That's been one of the things that has come forward quite a bit. And I think it's really a reflection of the resilience of the people. They recognize that the country will be going through a difficult time for maybe several years to come, but persons are very much committed to working together and making sure that those that really need support receive that. We've also seen such an outpouring of amazing support from other Jamaicans who are in sections of the country that have not been affected, and they've really come together. Many of them have family or familial roots in the Western parishes, and they've been returning home, taking supplies to their family members as well, providing support to them. And many groups have formed in country, and they're donating food, clothing, water, whatever they can. They're going and really assisting.
Mhm. So far, I know that a couple of media agencies have been reporting like access to some of the areas. What is the situation to date? If that has that been able to, get anywhere?
Yes, absolutely. I'm happy to say that before I left last week, Thursday, I believe either on Tuesday or Wednesday last week, the last Maroon community was reached. That means
Okay.
that access has been provided now by road, albeit may not be the best roads, but they're able at least to get in with vehicles to the community. So there are no more Maroon communities as of about Wednesday or Thursday, Tuesday or Wednesday, sorry, last week.
Okay, that's good to know. I heard you talking about the mental health and the psychological support. I don't want to ask about prioritizing the necessary support, but how is SEDEMA handling what should be priority over some of the other things that may be more long term?
Well, our role in country is any country that's impacted, and similarly for Jamaica, is dictated by the requests from the government. So SEDEMA's support to Jamaica actually started prior to Melissa. We had been in discussions, walking through with the team in Jamaica, the various scenarios that could have played out from the system. I think persons will remember that Melissa really hung around in an almost stationary or very slow moving pattern for almost a week. And of course, it meant that we had to be adjusting the planning as we saw different models playing out, etc. So we were in conversations long before. We dispatched two personnel in two areas immediately prior to the system. They were on the ground the Friday before Melissa hit, and the system hit on the Tuesday. And those personnel were focused on assisting in the preparedness process on the operational side within the Emergency Operations Center, which was activated in Kingston. And we also had telecommunications specialist support on the ground, and they were able to go and work together with the team in Jamaica ahead of the system. We took equipment up, we took Starlinks and also other equipment for supporting the HF radio network. The telecommunications personnel were out in the field prior to the event, going out to the parish disaster committees, installing the Starlinks, undertaking training for persons there on how to use it, and also doing repairs on HF communications ahead of the system. So this was very good. And from our perspective, we were really pleased to make that contribution. Subsequent to the impact, we received additional requests from the government of Jamaica. We were asked to enhance the telecommunications personnel on the ground, and we've done that. So we now have, at the maximum, we had, I believe, was 5 persons. I think there may be 4 now. One person having just returned, working alongside the team in Jamaica, but also along with the international actors now who are working on telecommunications, making sure that remote communities which had the communications disrupted are able to communicate even now. And we also provided a rapid needs assessment team, and they went in guided by the government of Jamaica, representing a range of specializations from both international as well as regional organizations.
I lost your
And
audio there a bit. Sorry. Yes, regional organizations.
yes, a range of regional and international organizations supported the rapid needs assessment teams. So we had skill sets in the areas of engineering, assessing housing and infrastructure damage. We looked at social sectors, of course, the impact on the people. We were able to do assessments on tourism, agriculture, fisheries, coordination, telecommunications, and a range of other areas which were requested by the government of Jamaica. That report was shared in draft last week. We've received comments back from the government of Jamaica, and it's going to be submitted in final this week. And basically what it has allowed us to do and allowed the government of Jamaica to have available is a quick, accurate overview of the impact by Melissa across those various sectors. And there are also a range of policy recommendations that have been made to inform the response period, but also as we transition into early recovery. And a third area where we work is on the area of relief management and logistics. So you may be aware that we launched earlier this year a humanitarian logistics hub in Barbados. It's a joint initiative by CDEMA and the World Food Program.
Mhm.
And we've worked with many of our partners on having prepositioned stocks in the Caribbean in large quantities for the first time. And the value of this really came into play this year. We were able to immediately work on the dispatch of relief items from the warehouse, the logistics hub here in Barbados. We want to thank the European Union, who worked with us to make available military maritime vessels belonging to France as well as to the Dutch, the Netherlands, and they were able to make trips from Barbados, taking items from the logistics hub up to Jamaica and getting them there in very quick time. In addition, we've worked with all of our other participating states. Many of them, as you know, the Caribbean really comes together
Yes.
whenever we have events. And this has been the same. The outpouring has been tremendous. Many of our countries have launched public drives, whether they be for food items, non-food items, or cash donations. So many of these are in train. We've been collaborating with those countries to ensure that we can facilitate the movement of the items to Jamaica. And we've been forming partnerships with a number of the shipping companies to ensure that they can reach in a timely manner. So we've been very busy on that front. And then one last area I want to mention is related to the partnership with Carolec, which is the Caribbean electricity
Yes.
companies. And Carolec is based in St. Lucia. And as you know, Carolec has a well-exercised machinery for providing surge support to do repairs of the electricity distribution lines. So we've partnered with Carolec initially to facilitate prioritized movement on airlines with which we have arrangements. CDEMA has arrangements. But then second, in collaboration with UK Foreign and Commonwealth Development Office, they've provided financing for the actual movement of over 50 linesmen from across the Caribbean region as well. And I also want to give a very great recognition to the CARICOM Development Fund, which financed the Rapid Needs Assessment Team, our operational support, and the emergency telecom support in the CDEMA response.
Thank you so much. All very good coordination and good work here. Before we wrap up, could you say if CDEMA is also doing some assessment or has done assessment in some of the other islands that have been touched?
Well, the requests with respect to Melissa have come only from Jamaica.
Jamaica. Okay.
With respect to the government of the Bahamas, we did receive a request prior to the impact of Melissa, not subsequent. And that request was to leverage two of our memorandum of understanding with regional airlines to support the evacuation of a number of the islands in the central and southeastern Bahamas. And we were able to do that. And we want to thank Inter-Caribbean Airlines and Sunrise Airways, who turned around very quickly to make aircraft available and to come to agreement with the government of the Bahamas to ensure that that took place. With respect to Haiti, we have been working collaboratively through our partnerships with Haiti. So leading up to the event, the Caribbean Institute for Meteorology and Hydrology, which undertakes all of the analysis of the hydrometeorological hazards and gives us the scientific basis on which to make decisions on how we do our response. They provided that type of analysis for Haiti, Jamaica, Bahamas, and the Turks and Caicos Islands coming into the Melissa event as well.
All right. As we're wrapping up here now, where can we find information on the work you're doing, also on the relief and so on? Where can we get that information?
So we are going to continue to issue situation reports. We have reduced the frequency from daily gradually, and from this week, we're issuing once per week on Thursday afternoon. So that will be coming out tomorrow afternoon. And we do have our distribution list. It comes out to all of the media houses, as well as a range of the international and regional partners. And in addition, it can be found on the CDEMA website at www.cdema.org. That's CDEMA.org. So we'll be issuing that late tomorrow evening.
Thank you so much for your time this afternoon. Thank you for giving us this overview of what has been happening in Jamaica and efforts by CDEMA to coordinate all the relief efforts. We look forward to hearing from you a little bit more as time progresses and to really follow what has been happening in our sister island, Jamaica. Again, thank you, Elizabeth Relly.